Alexandra with New Mexico Historic Sites, and today I am standing in front of the Leasburg Diversion Dam. I am about 1.5 miles northwest of Fort Selden Historic Site in Radium Springs. I am of course following all of my COVID-safe practices. Today, however, I would like to talk to you about one of the biggest commodities we have here in New Mexico: water. For thousands of years, this river has been vital to the people of Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, and Mexico. It has been a source of water for settlers, travelers, and livestock, as well as for crop irrigation. However, the Rio Grande is an extremely powerful force of nature. It is a naturally moving river whose course changes on an almost yearly basis. In the mid-19th century, settlers in the upper Mesilla Valley were looking for ways to control the regular flooding throughout the Rio Grande Basin and to harness the river's power for their own use. Man-made structures such as small dams, dikes, and canals were built to help control the river's wild nature, but they simply could not stand its powerful floods, and as a result had to be rebuilt on a regular basis. The other issue here was political. Because this river's water flows south, the more the water was diverted in northern and central New Mexico, the less water was available at its southern end, including in the Mesilla Valley, El Paso, and Mexico. This was not isolated just to New Mexico. Flooding and the desire for better control over crop irrigation was an issue throughout the American West. So in 1902, Congress passed the Newlands Reclamation Act. This act funded massive irrigation projects in 20 states. The newly formed Bureau of Reclamation enacted 3 irrigation projects here in New Mexico in the first half of the 20th century: Carlsbad, Hondo, and Rio Grande. The Rio Grande Project consisted of Elephant Butte Dam and Caballo Dam, a power plant at Elephant Butte Dam, 2 flood controls at Picacho North and Picacho South in the diversion dams American, Percha, Mesilla, Riverside, and Leesburg. Leesburg was the first dam built for the Rio Grande Project. Construction began in 1906, and by 1908, this structure was providing irrigation water to more than 31,000 acres in the upper Mesilla Valley, well before the larger storage dams of Elephant Butte and Caballo, which were completed in 1916 and 1938, respectively. As a diversion dam, Leesburg's job is to, as its name would suggest, divert water from the Rio Grande River, which is where this dam is located, into the Leesburg Canal, which was also built in 1908. It is the Leesburg Canal which then delivers water to the hundreds of acres of farmland which stretches down the Mesilla Valley for more than 36 miles. Whereas Elephant Butte Dam towers at 300 feet tall, the Leesburg Dam is only 10 feet high. However, it is a remarkable 600 feet in length. In contrast, the Elephant Butte Dam is only 205 feet wide at its base, and it narrows at the top to 16 feet. This is because the function of the 2 dams is different. Elephant Butte Dam was designed to keep and store the water. This helps to mitigate issues of water supply from the Mesilla Valley south through to the Juarez Valley, so that the farms and crops have access to the water they need. The Leesburg Dam was not designed to keep and store the water, because as you can see behind me, the water is not being stopped by the dam. It flows naturally over it. Controlling the water in the river, as well as the water that flows out of the river, has been vital to preventing flooding, as well as controlling the growth of sustainable crops. Agriculture is a key industry here in southern New Mexico, and the Leasburg Diversion Dam is certainly a part of keeping that industry in motion. This dam is named for the small community of Leesburg, which existed nearby during the second half of the 19th century. The community sprang up around the same time that Fort Selden was under construction. Adolph Lee, a respected merchant from nearby Las Cruces, filed a homestead claim to this land around the same time that Nelson H. Davis with the U.S. military was surveying the land to use as a military post. The relationship between Adolph Lee and the U.S. military was not good from the start. In the earliest days of Fort Selden, reports were dispatched to Washington stating that Leesburg provided soldiers with opportunities to visit their courtesans and concubines and to gamble and engage in whiskey drinking. By 1866, Leesburg had a population of nearly 40, as well as 4 dance hall saloons. Though Leesburg caused many problems for the commanders at the fort, it must have been memorable enough, because they named the dam after it, even though Leesburg was no longer in existence. But that's a story for another day. Today, this diversion dam is a part of Leesburg Dam State Park. Just like many members of the community, the staff at Fort Selden loves to come and have lunch at the shady picnic area when we have time. You can also come down here every day between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. Thank you so much for joining me on my adventure today. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.